Hello, this is Karen Grace Clark, Program Chair with GOLD Lactation Online Conference. I'm here with Diana Cassar-Uhl, and we're talking about mammary hypoplasia, also known as insufficient glandular tissue. Diana, can you tell me what exactly is this?
Well, Karen Grace, mammary hypoplasia is, mammary hypoplasia and insufficient glandular tissue, or IGT, are two terms that are used interchangeably to talk about insufficient development of the breast. And by insufficient, we're talking about, we in the lactation field are talking about glandular development that is insufficient for a full milk supply. Now, in the plastic surgery literature, the same condition is referred to as tuberous breast deformity, and that's really focusing more on the appearance of the breasts and not the function. So, our consideration of mammary hypoplasia, when we're talking about hypoplasia of anything, we're talking about the insufficient development of it. If you do a Google search for hypoplasia, you're going to come up with, renal hypoplasia, which is insufficient development of the kidneys, or, enamel hypoplasia, which is insufficient development of the tooth enamel. So hypoplasia of anything is just the insufficient development of a particular organ.
Excellent definition. Thank you for explaining that to me. Tell me, Diana, how did you become interested?
Well, several years ago, I was already a mom of two children, breastfed children. I was a La Leche League leader, and breastfeeding was a really important part of my mothering experience and of my life, of course. And my very best friend had her first baby, and of course, having been around me for the previous several years, her full intention was to breastfeed her baby. But her milk just never came. And during her pregnancy, I remember she called me during her second trimester, and she said, "When does the booby fairy come? I've waited my whole life for this." She'd always had small breasts, and we never really thought anything of it until after her baby was born, and she was never able to bring in a full milk supply for her. And it was absolutely devastating for both of us, because there I was in a position, I was, preparing to be an IBCLC, and, neither of us could really find a whole lot of information about, what was going on with her, or what she could do about it. And it was a unique experience for me, because not only was I looking at it from a clinical perspective, but I really got to see what was going on with her from an emotional perspective. And that's a very different experience than when we just work clinically with moms. I got to really understand just kind of the guilt and the shame and, lots of different emotions, all in the middle of this postpartum hormone soup of, that is just terribly unpleasant to begin with. But, all of this going on at the same time. And I was her best friend. And, at that point, I never imagined that I could learn enough, to teach other professionals about it. But over the years, because I was working so hard to understand the condition and help my best friend figure out how to deal with it, this has sort of just become a topic of primary interest for me.
Thank you very much, Anna, for sharing that personal journey. You do raise a really good point here that, that knowledge is power, and it's very important for lactation. Their baby is born, which kind of leaves them very vulnerable to not meeting their goals, or not even putting things in place that can help them reach some of those goals. So thank you very much for bringing this information to us and for being willing to share it at GOLD Lactation. I understand that you are undertaking some research on this.
Oh, absolutely. Dr. Penny Liberatos and I, she's at New York Medical College. She and I launched a study back in February which really seeks to gather just very comprehensively the histories and the lived experiences of women who have low milk production due to suspected or confirmed mammary hypoplasia. And we're currently in the first stage of data analysis, but the study is ongoing. We'll collect respondents for a while still, but it's really fascinating because we have, in our field, we've got so much experience and wisdom, from professionals that have come before, who've been really working closely with and examining various, various causes for and comorbid conditions with low milk production. And so to actually conduct a study that not only confirms but builds upon a lot of that wisdom that we've gathered as a field over the years is extremely exciting. And hopefully what we've gathered, hopefully we'll be able to publish and share those findings with not just the lactation community, but the larger healthcare breastfeeding support community, so that we can really up the ante on the support that these mothers need, and that will really improve breastfeeding outcomes over the course of time for them. We're really aiming for, when we want mothers to be able to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months, and there's so many things that have been found to go into that. There's lots of social factors and physiological factors, and the more we know about hypoplasia and what these moms are going through, the more comprehensively we can support them, and that's kind of the ultimate goal of this study.
Excellent, thank you. I have full confidence that we will be hearing a lot more about this particular topic, a lot more about your research, and a lot more from you. So very, very excited to have you as a part of Gold Lactation Online Conference. Thank you, Diana, for talking with me today. And to all of our listeners out there hearing this interview, please head on over to goldlactation.com, where you can register to hear Diana talk about mammary hypoplasia and insufficient glandular tissue. Check out our homepage.